All right, my secondary math 1 class, we are going to be building on what we talked about last time with distributing with expressions, and we are going to throw some equations into it, okay? So remember, what does distributing actually mean? Let's go ahead and define that. What are we actually doing when we are distributing? Okay, we are multiplying. Okay, so whenever it tells you to distribute something, it means to multiply it. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at number 1. Okay, so we always want to find our parentheses when distributing, and then we want to find the number that's right in front of our parentheses. Okay, that's the number that's going to distribute inside. Okay, when it distributes, it has to distribute to everything inside. So this 5 needs to distribute to the 1, meaning it needs to multiply to the 1 and the 5n. Okay, so let's go. What is 5 times 1? This is just our first little piece right there. 5 times 1 is just going to give me 5. Okay, well, what is 5 times 5n? Okay, 5 times 5 is going to give me 25. And then there was 1n being multiplied, so 25n. Okay, we found both pieces. Now all we need to do is just rewrite them together. Okay, so we had a 5, and then we had a positive, so plus 25n. The last thing you need to do is ask yourselves, are these two terms, are they like terms? Can we combine them anymore? Nope, they are not. The 25 has the n, and the 5 does not. So that is as simplified as it'll go. Okay, let's do the same thing for number 2. What is the number that's right in front of our parentheses that's going to distribute inside? Okay, it's going to be this 4, right? So this 4 times n. Okay, this is a little bit different. You can also think, what is 4 times 1n? 4 times 1 is just 4. Okay, and then there was 1n being multiplied, so just 4n. Okay, so now we have our 4 times 4. Okay, our last piece, 4 times 4 is going to give me 16. Okay, we distributed, which means we multiplied to get both of our pieces. Now all we have to do is rewrite them together. Okay, so we have 4n plus 16. 4n plus 16. Okay, let's look at number 3. What is the number that's right in front of my parentheses for number 3? This is a little different. Okay, it's negative 1. Okay, that 1 is always invisible, so in this case it's negative 1. Okay, so negative 1 needs to distribute to that 6 and that negative 10k. Okay, so we have negative 1 times 6, and that's going to give me negative 6. Okay, then I have negative 1 times a negative 10k. Okay, a negative times a negative is going to give me a positive, and then 10k times 1 is just 10k. All right, we multiplied, we distributed, we got rid of our parentheses. Now let's just rewrite it. So we have negative 6 and then plus 10k because it's positive. Whoops, there you go. Okay, we can't simplify it anymore because the 10 has the k, the negative 6 does not, so they are not like terms. Okay, let's look at number 4. Okay, what is the number that needs to distribute inside? It's going to be that 4. Okay, it needs to distribute to both things inside, meaning 4 times negative 3x. Okay, so let's do 4 times negative 3. What's that going to give me? 4 times negative 3, it's going to give me negative 12. Okay, there was 1x, so negative 12x. Okay, our last piece, 4 times negative 1. That is going to give me negative 4. Okay, we got both of our pieces. We multiplied and distributed, so now we can go ahead and rewrite them together. So negative 12x minus 4. Last thing you need to check is, are these guys like terms? Nope. The 12 has the x, the -4 does not. Okay, let's go to number 8. Or not 8, 5. Okay, so in number 5, this is where we need to write down our 2 steps. Okay, so our first step is to distribute. Okay, 1 through 4, all we had to do was distribute and we were done. Okay, but 5 and so on, we need to distribute first, and then we need to combine like terms. Okay, we must distribute before we combine like terms. Okay, so let's look back at our expression. What is the number that needs to be distributed? What is the number that's right in front of our parentheses? It's this +7. Okay, so that +7 needs to multiply to the 1. So 7 times 1 is going to give me 7. Okay, but then it also needs to distribute to this -3a. So 7 times -3a. 7 times -3 is going to give me -21. There was 1a, so -21a. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and rewrite it down here. So we got a 7 minus 21a. Okay, well now, this 8a that's been waiting patiently, now we can just put him right in front. Okay, 8a, it was a +7, so whoops. +7, so +7. Okay, so we distributed, check. Now we need to combine like terms. Okay, so what are my 2 terms that I can combine here? I see that 8 has an a and -21 has an a. So we do 8a minus 21a, and that is going to give us -13a. Okay, and since that 7 couldn't combine with anything, we just put them on the end. -13a plus 7. And that is our simplified answer. Okay, let's do number 6. Okay, number 6 is different because we have 2 sets of parentheses, right? One right here, one right there. Okay, but we're going to start it the exact same way. We need to distribute first. So let's just focus on our first little set of parentheses. So what is the number that needs to distribute inside? It needs to be that 6, right? That's right in front, so it needs to distribute or multiply to both things inside. So we have 6 times 2x. What is 6 times 2x going to give me? 6 times 2, 12 with 1x, so 12x. Okay, then we have a 6 times -7. Okay, 6 times -7, I'm going to double check on the calculator. That's going to give me -42. Okay, so that was just our first set of parentheses. So now let's do our second set. The number that needs to distribute in here is what? -9, okay? So -9 needs to multiply to -1 and -8x. So we have -9 times -1. It's going to give me a negative times a negative. It's positive. Okay, again, -9 times -8x. Okay, -9 times -8 is going to give me 72 with 1x, right? Negative times negative, positive. Negative times negative, positive. Okay, so we have all of our pieces. Now we just need to rewrite them together. Okay, so I had 12x, so I'm going to write 12x, -42, so -42, +9, so +9, and then +72x, so +72x. Okay, so we rewrote them. Now we need to combine like terms. Okay, we need to see if there's anything that we can combine. Okay, so what are some terms that I can combine? Let's look at our first term. I see 12x. So where's my other term with an x? 72. Okay, so we do 12 plus 72. That's going to give me 84 x's. Okay, 12 x's plus 72 x's gives me 84 x's. Okay, and now what are my other two terms that I can combine? Negative 42, positive 9. Okay, so I get negative 42. I'm going to add 9. I'm going to end at negative 33. Okay, are these guys like terms? Can we combine it anymore? Nope. So that is our simplified expression. Okay, so 1 through 6, we were dealing all with expressions. That was kind of like a review from last time. Okay, that's going to help us with 7 through 10. Okay, because now we are not simplifying expressions, we are solving equations. Okay, so now we're actually trying to figure out what number does this x represent. Okay, so our steps for solving are going to be pretty much the exact same. So let's write them. Okay, distribute is always our first step. Okay, we must get rid of those parentheses. Okay, our second step is going to be to combine like terms. Okay, same exact steps. Except now we have a new step. Okay, when we're solving, all we need to do is solve for the variable. Okay, so make sure those steps are written down, and let's go ahead and practice them. Okay, so our first step is to distribute. So what is the number that I need to distribute? It's going to be this positive 6, right? Okay, we are going to ignore this equals sign until the very end. Ignore the equals until the very last step. So let's go ahead and do our first step, which is to distribute. Okay, so we have our 6, and it needs to distribute to 8x and 7. Okay, so let's do 6 times 8x. What is 6 times 8? You can do it in your calculator. That's what I'm doing right now. 6 times 8 is 48. Okay, there was 1x, so that becomes 48x. Beautiful. Okay, so then 6, we need to do our 6 times 7. Okay, 6 times 7 is going to give me, again, I'm doing it in my calculator, 42. So plus 42. Okay, so we distributed, check. Do we need to combine like terms? Are these guys like terms? No, one has the x and one does not. Okay, so we can go ahead and bring down our equal sign, equals 282. Okay, since we didn't have to combine like terms, we can go ahead and solve. Okay, so when we are solving, we draw our line down our equal sign. Okay, and now we need to untie the knots and keep it balanced, right? When solving equations, we have to untie what's going on. So look at the number that's farthest away from the x. In this case, it's plus 42. So we're working from the outside in. How do I get rid of plus 42? What's the opposite of plus 42? We subtract 42. So subtract 42 from both sides. We still have 48x left on this side, equals 282 minus 42 is going to give me 240. Okay, so we're slowly making this side of our equation smaller until we get this x all by itself. Okay, so we still have one more step to getting x by itself. So this is 48 times x, right? When they're right next to each other, that means they are being multiplied. So how do we undo, or what is the opposite of multiply by 48? We divide by 48. Okay, so now that leaves us with just our x. So what is 240 divided by 48? 240 divided by 48. It's going to give me 5. Okay, you know you're done when your x or whatever variable letter is all by itself. In this case, it's all by itself, so we know our answer is 5. X equals 5. Okay, so we followed all our steps. First, we distributed. Then we checked to see if we could combine like terms. In this case, we didn't have to because they're not like terms. And then we solved for the variable, okay, by undoing those things that are happening on the same side as our variable. Okay, so let's look at number 8. Okay, so number 8, let's follow our same steps. So we need to distribute. Okay, so what is the number that is going to have to distribute in? Okay, it's going to be this positive 4, right? So that positive 4 needs to distribute to everything inside. Okay, so we get 4 times negative 8 is our first little piece. So what is 4 times negative 8? It's going to be a negative 32, right? Positive times a negative gives me a negative. Okay, so now what is 4 times positive 5x? 4 times 5 is going to give me 20, and there's 1x, so 20x. Okay, so we distributed. Check. Now we need to check and see if they are like terms. Can we combine them? So look at these two terms. Are they like terms? Can we combine them? Nope, the 20 has the x, the negative 32 doesn't, so we can go ahead and start solving. So just copy down that equals. So now we can go on to our final step and start solving. Okay, so let's draw our line down our equal sign. My left side is the side with my variable. So this is the side that I need to get rid of things, right? So what is the farthest away from my x? It's going to be this negative 32. So what is the opposite of negative 32 or subtract 32? It's going to be to add 32. Okay, so we undid that, but we must do the same thing to both sides. So add 32 there, add 32 there. Okay, so bring down your 20x, that's what's left over, equals negative 152 plus 32. So let's put that in our calculator. Negative 152 plus 32 is going to give me negative 120. Okay, we're almost done. We need to get rid or do the opposite of this times by 20. So what is the opposite of times by 20? We need to divide by 20. Okay, that gets rid of that. We got to do the same thing over here. Okay, our x is all by itself equals a negative 120 divided by positive 20. Okay, so negative 120 divided by positive 20 is going to give you what? Negative 6. Our variable is all by itself, so we know that our answer is negative 6. Beautiful. Okay, look at number 9. So let's follow our same steps. We need to distribute first. So what is the number that is going to distribute in front of my parentheses? Okay, it's going to be this positive 6. Okay, distribute to both things inside, so 6 times negative 7x. Okay, so what is 6 times negative 7? Okay, that's going to give me negative 42, and there was 1x, so just negative 42x. Okay, and again, now we have just 6 times negative 7 by itself. So 6 times negative 7 again, negative 42. Okay, no x's were being multiplied on that one. Okay, so we distributed. Now we need to see if they're like terms. Okay, are these guys like terms? Can I combine them? No. Okay, so this negative 42 has an x, but this one doesn't, so we can't combine them. So we can go ahead and set it up to start solving it. Okay, so now we can go ahead and start solving it. So let's draw our line down our equal sign. Okay, so which negative 42 do I need to get rid of? This one that's multiplying or the one that's just subtracting? Okay, we need to get rid of the one that's just subtracting first. Okay, So what is the opposite of minus 42? We are going to add 42. Okay, so once you undo it, you have to do the same thing to both sides. Okay, so what is 252 plus 42? 252 plus 42 is going to give me 294 on this side equals what's left over. We still have negative 42 times x. Okay, so now we have one more step to get our x all by itself. We need to get rid of this times by negative 42. So what is the opposite of times by negative 42? We divide by negative 42. Okay, it's going to give my x all by itself. Got to do the same thing to both sides. Divide by negative 42. Okay, so what is 294 divided by negative 42? It's going to give me negative 7. Okay, my variable is all by itself, so we know that we found our answer. X equals negative 7. Okay, last example for the day. Same exact steps, we need to distribute first. So what is the number that I need to distribute? What is the number that's right in front of the parentheses? It's going to be this negative 8. Excuse me, I needed a drink. Okay, it's going to be this negative 8. Okay, this negative 8 is going to distribute to both things inside my parentheses. Okay, focus, there we go. Okay, in order to get rid of these parentheses. So let's do negative 8 times 3n first. So what is negative 8 times 3? It's going to give me negative 24, and there was one n that was being multiplied, so negative 24n. Okay, so now we have our second part. What is negative 8 times positive 1? It's just going to give me negative 8. Okay, so now we distributed. We did our first step, so now we need to do our second step. Are they like terms? Can we combine them? Nope, because this one has an n, this one does not. Okay, so we can go ahead and set it up to solve. Okay, so now we're setting it up to solve, so draw our line down our equal sign. Okay, and what piece do I need to get rid of first? Which one is the farthest away from n? Okay, so this one is, this negative 24 is being multiplied to it. This one is being subtracted. Which do you think we need to get rid of first? Okay, we got to get rid of the subtraction first. Okay, so when we're solving, what is the opposite of negative 8? How do we get rid of this negative 8? We do positive 8 or add 8. Okay, so we're going to add 8 to both sides. Our negative 24n is still left over here. We have equals, and then what is 136 plus 8? What do we get on this side? 136 plus 8. We get 144. Okay, so we have one more step to get our n all by itself. Okay, so careful here. This is not saying n minus 24. This is saying negative 24 is being multiplied to the n because they're right next to each other. Okay, so what is the opposite of times by negative 24? We divide by negative 24. Okay, that gets rid of it. Got to do the same thing to both sides. Okay, so our n is going to be all by itself. What is 144 divided by negative 24? Okay, we get negative 6. Okay, my n is all by itself, so we know that that is our answer. Okay, so today we worked on more distributing. First 6, we did expressions. The last 4 we solved because they were equations. Okay, so when they are expressions, you're going to get just a smaller math sentence. Okay, when they're equations, you're going to get an x equals, or n equals, whatever variable they're using. Okay, Those are your notes, you guys. Make sure you do your assignment.